Welcome to GW Micro's Guess What series, an introductory look at the highly anticipated release of WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1. Today, we are going to take a look at some of the vast improvements WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1 brings to Microsoft Word. Currently, the system used for this demo is WindowEye 7.2, and just to show you, I'll do a control backslash.
WindowEye active Win-000 associated none.
You're already hearing some differences there. Alt-H followed by
Win A. Menu closed. OK button dialog about WindowEye 7.2 Wednesday.
And I'll silence that. The reason that 7.2 is being used currently is so that you can hear the difference in speed. First, I'm going to go to the desktop by pressing Escape to get out of this dialog.
WindowEye active Win-000 associated none.
Then Windows key D.
Desktop. Post-secondary at 2004.doc. List view 9 of 9.
I have a document that has a table of contents in it, so I'm going to go ahead and open up this document by pressing Enter.
Opening Microsoft Word. Post-secondary at 2004.doc compatibility mode.
I'll press Control to silence that. We don't need to hear everything about this document. I'm going to do a Control page down.
Browse next. Browse next.
Again.
Browse next. Section 2 of 12. Page 1 style heading 1.
I'm going to make sure my number lock is off here for a second.
Num lock off.
Alright, now I'm going to read the current line.
Table of contents.
So here's table of contents. If I down arrow.
Style normal. Blank.
Down arrow again.
Style top 1. 3 fields. Enter TOC field table of contents 1.
Read this. If I down arrow.
Style hyperlink.
If I down arrow a bunch of times.
3 fields. Matching. 3 fields.
You kind of hear
Contact
how sluggish
information 3.
WindowEye is there. You kind of heard it take a while. Let's see what happens when we try this with WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1. So through the miracle of editing, I'm actually now back into the same document, and this time I have WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1 installed. Just so you know that I'm actually running that version, I'll do a Control backslash.
Dialog WindowEye active default.set. Associated none. Screen closed 1 of 13 preview depth 1.
You can hear that that's the new UI. If you're sighted and you're watching this on YouTube, you can actually visually see that 7.5. I'm going to Alt-Tab back to that same document that I had.
Post-secondary at 2004.doc compatibility mode Microsoft Word. Post-secondary at 2004.doc compatibility mode Microsoft Word page 1 of 47 footer 1 column 1 of 1.
And I'll press Control to silence that. I'll read the current line that I'm on.
Table of contents.
So it says Table of Contents. If I down arrow.
Blank.
If I down arrow again.
3 fields enter hyperlink field enter TOC field. Table of contents 1.
And it already feels more responsive, but let me show you what happens. I'm going to start down arrowing a bunch of times. Remember, last time it took a couple seconds for WindowEye to catch up. Watch what happens this time.
3 fields. What is expected of a FIPS grant? The importance of dissemination 5. 3 fields partnerships and collaboration 6.
You can see that WindowEye is much more responsive now with WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1, making it much easier to navigate these types of documents. You'll really notice the faster speed of WindowEye in more complex documents that include items like a table of contents and tables. This is one of the huge improvements we have made in WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1 to continue to make you more efficient. What else have we done in WindowEye 7.5 Beta 1? It now supports User Interface Automation, or UIA for short. Yesterday's Guess What referenced this new technology, but what is UIA, and what does it mean to you? According to the official definition from www.microsoft.com, UIA is, quote, Microsoft UI Automation is the new accessibility framework for Microsoft Windows, available on all operating systems that support Windows Presentation Foundation, or WPF for short. WPF is a new technology that replaces older Win32 technology that was used to create controls such as edit boxes, checkboxes, and other types of controls that you would have commonly used. As an example, a checkbox that is created as a WPF control is based on UIA. Since WindowEye supports UIA, the WPF checkbox would speak. Now, if you're not a programmer, you're probably wondering why you even care. First, you already know that Internet Explorer 9 incorporates UIA. This means that WindowEye had to incorporate UIA technology to support Internet Explorer 9 to the fullest. What you may not know is that UIA is replacing older technologies that were used to make applications accessible. This means that Windows must support this technology to continue to make many different Microsoft applications work with Windows. Two good examples of where this technology is used are Windows Server 2008 and Visual Studio 2010. Blind programmers and IT professionals require access to these applications to maintain employment, and end users require access to the programs created with these utilities. As more and more new applications from Microsoft are released, UIA will be the underlying technology that allows those programs to speak, and without Windows supporting UIA for those technologies, you would not have access to them. Windows is again taking the lead on the latest and greatest assistive technology. On this system, there happens to be a widget called Control Template Examples. I'm going to press Alt F4 to get out of my document.
Screen closed 1 of 13 preview depth 1.
And Windows
Dialog
key
window
D,
desktop.
my desktop.
Post-secondary at 2004. Doc list view 9 of 9.
C until I get to Control Template Examples.
C. Control template examples. X 7 of 9.
Now this is a sample widget that has many different types of WPF controls, which uses UIA technology as noted earlier. I'm going to open the widget and let's see if Windows can read all of these special controls with this new technology. So I'll press enter.
Control template examples. X 7 of 9.
After it opens, the first thing I need to do is press tab.
Default button.
And once tab is pressed, you hear that there's a default button. I'm going to press tab again.
Normal button.
Now you hear that there's a normal button. How about some of the other controls? So if I press tab,
normal and checkbox.
So this next type of control is a checkbox and it has a field name of normal. What happens if I press space?
Space. Checked.
So you heard Windows say checked. What happens if I press space to uncheck it?
Space. Unchecked.
Again, you can hear Windows as being right there with you, keeping up with the latest technology. If I continued to tab, you would hear Windows speak text boxes, combo boxes, radio buttons, list boxes, sliders, toolbars, menus, and even some tree views. Rather than take you through all these generic controls, let's check out a real application. I'm going to press Alt F4 to close this program.
Dialog window eyes active Explorer.set, Associated Explorer.set. Settings E screen closed 1 of 13 preview depth 1.
Now I'm going to open up Visual Studio 2010. So I need to go to my desktop because that's where I have my shortcut. So Windows key D.
Desktop. Control template examples. X list view 7 of 9.
I'm going to press M until I hear Microsoft Visual Studio 2010.
M. Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 8 of 9.
And then I'm going to press enter.
Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 8 of 9. Hourglass start page Microsoft Visual Studio.
I'm going to create a text file here since most users are familiar with text files. So I'm going to press Control N for new.
N. General. Arrow.
And then I'm going to press Tab.
Text file selected 1 of 16 data grid.
It says text file. I hear Windows say that. I'm going to press enter.
Solution apostrophe solution 10 projects 1 of 1 tree depth 1. I-beam.
And I'm now actually in an editor that is using UIA technology. I could type in some code here, but I don't want to confuse the people who aren't programmers, so I'm just going to type in some text so that you can actually hear Windows is speaking it.
HELLO space GUES double AAT space LISTERS. Bang.
And now I'm going to try and read my current line.
Hello, guess what, listeners?
So you can see that Windows is actually working here with this new UIA technology. It's following you every step of the way, so if you're a blind programmer, you can use the latest development technology. There are some other controls that rely on UIA as well here inside of Visual Studio 2010, and they're up in the toolbar, so I'm going to get there by first pressing Alt.
Application H pull down. File F pull down.
And then
Arrow.
I'm going to press Control Tab to get to the toolbars.
New project pull down.
And again, right there, you're hearing UIA technology in action. If I press Tab,
menu closed. Open file, O button. I-beam.
You're going to hear the next item. If I tab again,
save text file 1.txt button.
You'll hear the next item, and you can see that Visual Studio 2010 is definitely accessible with Windows 7.5 Beta 1. It is extremely important that Windows support UIA technology since most of the new applications created by developers using Visual Studio 2010 will incorporate WPF technology, thus relying on UIA. This makes it imperative that Windows support the WPF controls as applications using this technology become more and more popular. Get the best possible access to Microsoft Word, Visual Studio 2010, and all of the other new and upcoming applications that will use UIA technology with WindowWise 7.5 Beta 1. As you've been able to see through the Guess What series, WindowWise 7.5 Beta 1 is definitely a well-rounded, well worth it upgrade. Stay tuned for Monday's Guess What to learn more about WindowWise 7.5 Beta 1, as well as an exciting promotion to help you upgrade from 7.2 to 7.5.